Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about personal development. So let's get into it. So this is the third question in my four-part question. Hi Frederick, or well, he said hi in the first video, so let's not go there. How does IT look at personal development, and whose responsibility is it to continue my how whose responsibility is it to help me with my continued education? Well, that ranges fundamentally it is your responsibility, of course. At the end of the day, nobody cares about, well, can I even say that anymore? Because every time I say this, it's like it's news to someone. I'd like to use my own words, but my friend, you are your best friend. You are also your worst enemy. And other people usually feel the same way about themselves. And that means that although you might have people outside of yourself who might be willing to help you, in some cases not, shame on them, you're the one who's going to have to take responsibility for your own future. Most of the time, at the very least. You might get some help here and there, but that's not something that you can bet on all the time. And it's the same thing with your personal education. So it very much depends on the company. So some companies are on one extreme where they basically say you do all your personal development in your spare time. That's what you're doing. And then when you're on at work, you code. Like you make money for us. That's the one extreme. The other extreme is, or like the opposite of that, would be that we actually allocate budgets and education programs for you. And what you deal with when you develop as a software developer basically comes down to the company. And there's tons of stuff in between, but that's usually the way it goes. The company will, in some cases, depending on how much they invest in this, give you education or pay for courses that you might want to take in your spare time, or you might have some hours every week or every month, or some budget that you can sit with during work hours to do your own education. All these things can happen, and that's pretty much the whole answer. So but I want you to know something at the same time. Fundamentally, the best thing for you is not necessarily to try to find a job or to try to get into a space where they give you just some budget to do whatever you want. Because here's the thing: one of the biggest trends in software management today is the hackathon. What is a hackathon? Well, that's another video. The short version is hackathon is we give you a few certain time units to play around with something, make something cool, and if it's something that makes us money, we will, well, I'm not going to say steal it, but we're going to put it into production. Great. Now, this is a creative exercise for companies such as, say, Google or Facebook or any trendy startup. But it has a secondary purpose for other sorts of companies that are more conservative, and that is to give developers who are quote unquote forced to work in hell a chance to play with something new. This is something that works at the education level as well when you get a personal budget. Like, imagine for the sake of argument that you work primarily with COBOL or Fortran, or like I'm being a little bit extreme here now, but let's say that you're working in a really bad system, you're working with an outdated tech stack and so forth and so forth, and the company gives you a tiny budget, maybe an hour or something like that every month. I don't know. Like it can range from all kinds of stuff, right? To do some personal education. Now, the personal education that you get from that is like nothing compared to what you're getting from doing the job that you're doing. 1 hour, let's just, this is a fictive number now, of course, but if you have 1 hour every month to, I don't know, play around with Golang or JavaScript or be really, really wild and, I don't know, use Git, that's not gonna make a difference to your it's not going to help you. And that's the thing that I want you to really think about here. the best education, the best personal development that you can do is not going to a company that works with like a really old tech stack and gives you some perks. It's to find a role, like the right role as I like to call it, in the right company. In other words, if you want to get really good at, say, front end, then don't take a job as a die-hard backend developer where they give you a few hours every month to play around with something sort of front-endy. You can do it if you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it if it's right for you. It's right for you. But what I'm saying is that the better option is to try to find a front-end job in a company that actually does serious front-end development, or vice versa, depending on what you want to do, right? Because you're never going to be able to even if you can do it in your spare time and you can build up a base of knowledge, but if you really want to master the thing, it's important that you do it with the same expectations you put on someone who does it for a living. It's similar to, well, not exactly the same thing, but if you want to get really good at anything, you have to do it as if you were paid to do it, and that's the best part about it. In your case, you can get paid to do it, so build up your knowledge to the point where someone will pay you to do it if you really want to master that thing. And overall, think about the fact that this is in many cases a little bit just for yourself, because I mean the companies themselves, they don't care so much usually if you do your own learning or you educate yourself. Like they do, because they want people who are smart and relevant and passionate, but when push comes to shove, the thing that they care about is that you know their tech stack. And that's why I was saying, that's why you have to really ask yourself whether or not the tech stack that they are using is the best long-term investment for you. Because if you spend most of your career in a company who uses outdated systems and bad code and bad work processes and so forth, and you want to take another job or you want to progress to somewhere else, then it might be a struggle for you, because you have been working in a way that may have worked in that one company, but it's not really applicable to all the other companies. So finding the right position is, as I said, more important than most of the personal education that you could do in your spare time. That is still relevant, but it's not as important. So what I want you to take away from this is that general statement about personal development and education and so forth post being a professional. Every company is different. It can range everything from that they don't want you to do anything than churn out characters in your whatever file you're making, to that they will give you money to go on events or budgets to educate yourself in your spare time, or even time during work hours, and so forth and so forth. It very much depends on the culture and the value system of the company. But remember my words when I said think more about having the right role in the right company, because nothing that you do in your spare time with a few hours is going to give you as much personal development and as much expertise as if you were paid to do this thing. If it is your job to do the thing, you're going to develop much faster. This is not something you have to do, because the company will pay you just as long as you can do the thing that they want you to do. And you will learn that before your career is over. I promise you that much. But don't forget to keep yourself relevant, because if you get too far behind everybody else, it might be hard for you to find your next job. Have a great day.